All right, so today I want to go over a big reason why I use the Blackmagic 6K and the 6K Pro for all of my wedding work, and really the main reason is the skin tones. Like, the skin tones that you get out of this camera, in my opinion, are next level. And so today I want to go through a tutorial showing you the before and afters of how I take a shot that looks like this and then turning it into this. So please stick around and let me show you how I did it. All right, what's going on? What's going on? So back in Davinci Resolve 17, we have our shot for today. And you can see we already have our power grade applied. I go over this power grade and what each node is doing in a previous video. So I'll go ahead and link that up top if you need to watch that for reference. But we have our power grade here. I will pop up the CST or color space transform. We got the Blackmagic Gen 5 film and then your standard Rec 709, Gamma 2.4. So that gets us, as you can see here, in a somewhat of a good starting place here to grade as far as our Rec 709 conversion. But as you can see, we got a little ways to go. But like I mentioned at the beginning, we're gonna this shot in particular, I feel like really shows off skin tone wise what the Blackmagic can do and why I just think it's just such a phenomenal camera for wedding work. So let's dive into it. So I'm gonna go through here and just kind of find our shot that we want to target here. So this looks good. So let's start. So we're gonna boost up our contrast here because, you know, and again, what am I looking for? We're looking for highlight areas here. So this, I'm not actually going to push too much, maybe right around 1.1, 1.2. And then I'm going to bring my pivot and I'm actually going to bring that down. So what is that pivot doing? That's controlling where the contrast is actually applied within the image. So by bringing it down, you can see in the scopes here, they're really stretching out that bottom area, which is really going to lift up the shadows and kind of give us contrast, but where we want it and giving it more of that softer look. So you can just see with those adjustments right there, we're getting kind of in an area here. Now, obviously, we need some color in this image. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring up the color. So I'll probably put it right around 75-ish, a little more than usual, just so I can see overall what's going on. And then the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to bring my mid-tone detail and I'm going to bring that down. One of my favorite features in Davinci Resolve, seriously a game changer. I probably usually go between -25 and -30. And this, I think, is a great spot just to overall just soften up the skin. And we're already starting to get places here just in a couple simple steps, okay? So let's move on here to our lift, gamma, and gain and start applying a little bit more punch to this image. So you can see here down in the scopes that we don't have a lot of room left in the shadows. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lift up the gain here a little bit, specifically in this image to start. So we're at about, we'll bump it up to about 15 here to see how that works. Then I'm actually going to bring my lift down just a little bit, and then also my shadows. And the one thing I really like when I'm using the shadows is that it's bringing down the darkness, but it's not pushing it all the way past the black points. And then now I'm actually going to lift up my gamma here to bring in a little bit more softness, and then I think I'm actually going to bring my gain back down a little bit. And we're going to do a little bit more of a dance between actually the gamma and the lift. And again, I'm glad I'm doing this in real time for you because you can see here that it's not like a set and forget it. Like, I'm kind of going back and forth between the controls and I'm looking at it in real time in the scopes. And I'm like, okay, am I getting a good tone that I want, or what do I need to adjust to help me get there, right? So I like where this is at so far, really liking that. So I think we're going to park it right about there. Now, going into the adjustment node, immediately everybody can see that this is really red or just has got this magenta look to it. So immediately I'm going to bring down the tint here, right? And that really helped kind of lowering the thing. And then I'm going to play with the color temperature a little bit. And I know naturally, you know, the way that I like to grade my wedding work, I put it a little bit more on the yellowish side. So if I push up my tint here, it's going to get me in that ballpark a little bit later, much easier. And another thing that I try to mention on my videos, if you can always, if you are shooting in RAW, that's the whole advantage of shooting in RAW, right? Is that you can adjust the temperature and tint in post. It's non-destructive. So absolutely adjust it in here if you can, rather than using the temperature and tint. You're going to get a much cleaner result because of that, right? So just so far, we are in a really good spot, right? So we're going to move on to the next node, HSL. That's just some very subtle, just hue, saturation, and luminance adjustments. So nothing crazy there. And I'm actually going to go back to my adjustment node and go into my printer lights for a second. And I'm actually going to just turn down the red channel ever so slightly. The one thing, or my one gripe with the Blackmagic is that it definitely, especially the 6K Pro, it really does suffer from some IR pollution. You don't really notice it too much in this shot specifically, but there are other shots where you do get that pretty bad like red cast, not even just in blacks, but just in general that I've noticed, especially shooting this past summer. So kind of my one complaint. Hopefully they correct that in the newer version, whenever that maybe is coming out. But anyway, so let's go over to our look node, right? So what we're gonna do to start, we're gonna go over our gamma, or our midtones in this case, right? And I'm gonna start actually pushing this. I'm also gonna zoom this out a little bit just so it's easier for me to see. A little bit of a trick. A lot of times, you know, you're like zoomed in here and you can't overall see what's going on. So that's a nice little trick. And we're gonna start pushing this over. You can see here, I'm pushing it over more towards the yellow and oranges. Now you're like, whoa, dude, this is like really warm to start, but just bear with me. Now we're gonna go over to the gain. And I'm gonna bring this over to the teals. I mean, you know the type of split toning I like using in my wedding work specifically. And we're starting to get places. Now, with this image specifically, I feel like this more tealish greenish tone is really complementing what I'm seeing and gives more of that filmic kind of dreamy vibe there. I'm actually gonna go back to the gamma and lift that there. And then we're gonna go over the lift and just see if I want to adjust anything here. The lift is usually definitely more of a stronger look, as you can see. And I think with this image, I don't want anything with the lift. So we're going to go back to the gain. I'm going to cool this down a little bit and push it more towards the green. And let me see before and after. So overall, really like where it is. I'm actually going to go back to the gamma again here. And I'm going to warm, again, a little bit more of a dance. Warm this up, and yeah, I like that. It just has like that kind of yellowish, greenish, warm tone to it, and I love that. Love that. So this was before the split toning, kind of more clean magenta, and then bringing out those colors there, and I love what we're getting there. Next node, sharpening, and to sharpen, pretty basic. Again, global adjustment radius. I just bring this down a couple points, nothing crazy to bring that sharpness back. And then we're going to go to our glow tool. I think definitely on this image, we are going to use it. So let me turn on this node and let's adjust here. So you can see, especially with the glow tool, it really helps also kind of smooth out that skin. And I mean, just look at the highlight roll off, like on her cheeks here. I mean, you just, yeah, it's just something else. It's just something else. So this is looking really good. I think I am actually going to go back to the look node and just tone down the warmth a little bit. I want it just a little bit more on the bluer side. And I think that this is in a great spot. So we could see here, scopes, nothing's clipping, relatively even. Go to our waveform here. It makes sense to have a little bit more here in this area. So, and then going back to our parade. So this is our shot, y'all. So I'm gonna actually apply the noise reduction here just to clean it up. So here is before and here is after. Oh, if I could press the right buttons. Oh, here we go. And here is after. So there we go. Look at that. Before, after. I mean, this is why I shoot on this camera for weddings. I mean, these type of shots, and to be able to deliver something like this to your couple, just see how hyped up they are about it. I mean, it literally makes them feel like they're in a movie. So hopefully this helped. Shows you why I love shooting on the Blackmagic for my wedding work, and how you can get just these insane, dreamy looking skin tones. But if you found this helpful, please drop a like, maybe even a comment down below what you liked about it, or even what you'd like to see in the future on this channel. I plan on dropping a lot more just educational content, behind the scenes stuff, and what I'm doing. And yeah, until the next one, y'all. Peace.